So going in from the kitchen into my gym, I just want to give you a little bit of tour of it. People have asked me about it, and so I thought I would start over maybe in a corner and just kind of talk about it, just so I have this. But so I started this project really putting down some flooring. It didn't always have that. It's a single car garage. It's pretty tall, and it's got a garage door opener up there that's kind of nice. But I ran power and put flooring in, and in no order, what I do have here is I have a power rack that's made by Rogue. It's collapsible. You can see these hinges here, right? And so it just kind of collapses in, and when you take the this pull-up bar off, and a couple other things, but it hinges shut, and it's only about 4 inches thick when it's all shut down. I've got a squat rack or a squat bar. It sits on that little holder right there on the floor and just stores vertically. Over here I have a couple of devices that I put on the rack. The one on the bottom is for a landmine. So you put a bar, and I'll show you how that works, but this is the handle right here, and you put that up and you can do plate weighted rows. And then the other one's a dip bar, and it attaches onto one of these. I have for squatting, I have two 20-degree angled incline things, so you can really flex those ankles. I've got some Nordic Track indexable or adjustable dumbbells. Those things probably get used. I use those a lot. This is an incline sit-up bench. That's the thing that gets used the absolute least of everything in here. I've got a curl set up, so I've got an arm blaster as well as a curl bar, and that's a Rogue curl bar. I've got a Rogue Ohio bar, and then Live has this little guy here. It's an aluminum bar. It's made for really light weights. These are the weights that just kind of go on them, but these I found to be really awesome. They're light, and you can really work on some mobility stuff with those. So backing away from it, that's kind of what that all looks like. I have two benches. I have a flat bench here from Rep. I've got another one over here that's adjustable. I use a music stand just to hold crap, which is kind of nice. Back here is where I put all my plates. I have extra collars that you can see right there, purple and blue. And then I've got an iron neck apparatus for working shoulders and neck. And speakers, of course, that's really important here. I bought two new Yamaha monitors. Those are 8-inch, and then up high I mounted those are 6-inch. And actually, what I use to mount those is just 3/8-inch pipes, so a combination of galvanized and brass fittings. Yeah, I'm from the farm. Oh, kettlebells. Tell you a little bit about these. So I don't have a lot of space, like most guys just don't in their gym or in their garage. And so I bought two plate-loaded kettlebells. These work fine. They come very sooty from a metal shop. So I cleaned them up, primed them, painted them, put some Rust-Oleum on them. And then just to note, these collars here are different than your standard 2-inch that you would find on something like the squat bar or that Ohio bar. They're just a little bit less round. Why Rogue did that, I don't know. But those things work pretty well. So that's the weights. One machine I use an awful lot is the C2 erg. I've got an iPad down there. I just store it vertically. This is the counterweight, so when I pull this down, you can see my television if I back out, I can raise it and lower it very, very easily, and it's counterbalanced so that it'll just stay put. But if I want to do a treadmill, I have it way up high, and then if I want to do something in the middle like cycling, it's down a little bit lower, and if I want to go all the way down for rowing, it's down at the bottom. And I did that with a series of pulleys that you can see up there. Where are they? There's one. That's the pulley. They're ball bearing pulleys, and then unistrut, and then inside that I put the little roller trucks. Fans. This garage is not air conditioned. It's in Florida, so I don't need heaters too much, but fans, I have these fans blowing like crazy. Next thing is a treadmill. So I got a treadmill again. I wanted one that I could store away. This is a Nordic Track, I forget the model of it, Flex Select. All right. Anyway, it gets out of the way a little bit, which is kind of nice. I pimped it out a little bit. I put a cell phone holder here, which is kind of cool. And you can see right up in here is where I bolted these things on. I put a water bottle holder so it's not slopping around. And then I've got an iPad holder here, so it's kind of similar to it. It expands out and holds the iPad. Very basic treadmill. Bought it for, I think, maybe $300-ish, I think. It was pretty much unused. But what's cool about it for connectivity, I'll zoom in, but this little guy is called Run, and it measures incline, and then you put these little reflective pieces of tape, and I spray them on with Gorilla Glue. And what it does is it passes under, a light reads the frequency of how fast it goes, and it transmits that to like an iPad. So you can turn this into a smart treadmill pretty quickly if you're doing things like online running, like that. I've got a scale that connects to my health app. I also have a blood pressure machine that does the same thing. I've got an old Nakamichi 2-channel stereo. That thing makes it sound really nice. Lots of storage. So I think I've talked about the benches. One that's incline. I use that the most with the dumbbells. And then I've got a flat one. It's just hard to beat that. I've got 2 bikes. This is the newest one I got earlier, all in January of this year. And it's kind of it's technically a gravel bike. I got aluminum because I didn't want another carbon bike. And it's got some really big purposeful gravel rims on it. And then above it, I have stored my time trial or triathlon bike, and it's made for speed and distance. Then up here, I have my deep aero section rims and a travel case. I've got some extra gravel tires here. And then I've got my road race deal up here. More fans. I've got 2 refrigerators, and in this one, you can tell that's the hydration section. Over here, I've got storage. So, and I mean, I use all of it for mostly helmets and connection stuff. Towels, I go through a lot of towels and whatever. Last couple of things in here is a pad. This I got on Amazon. It's a memory foam pad. It's, I don't know, half a finger thick, so it's not the thinnest one, but I found that to be very nice. But then I store a lot of stuff, as you do when you start taking. So there are some tools to work on bikes particularly, and gloves, and I have my dry marker board for my garage door over there where I like to overthink my goals. Chargers, powerless pedals, the chargers for the power pedals that I have that measures, power, sunglasses and extra bike stuff, This is some tools that just didn't fit anywhere else, but different things for cholesterol and glucose panels that I would check. What else we got? Goggles and sun glasses and eye protection, and then tire sealant. I seem to go through a lot of that. Tire patches. Other stuff that's just connectors, screws, extra cables, water bottle baskets for different types of events. Down here's all my swim gear. So I got my dry suit, got my swim buoy, kickboard, some other hydration stuff. Fits in this big drawer down here. It's on wheels, and this thing is really a luxury to have. I also, on the back of this treadmill, I put an extra power thing because I'm always plugging cell phones and everything with a battery, and I can just plug it directly into that. So that's kind of how that goes. Lastly, I've got these 2 rings, and no, I don't do an iron cross, but what I do is I put that up there and I'll hang from it just to release my, like if I want to stretch out my back after a tough workout, man, that thing's nice. So that is my home gym.